Thank you so much for coming in. Give us the backstory. Give us the origin story of Miss Pat.
Oh, I'm just a little old lady, a little old girl from the inner city of Atlanta. I used to traffic cocaine, got shot a couple times, got hit by a dump truck, had 2 babies by a married man, had a couple STDs, and I turned my life around.
Now you're a judge. Look at that.
I'm a fucking judge.
The least craziest thing, I think I heard you got hit by a dump truck. Is that right?
For chasing a man.
Wait, what?
Chasing a man.
You were chasing a guy across the street and you got hit by a dump truck?
No, I jumped off a little overpath onto his car one time because I was in love with him.
Okay.
And he drugged me.
Jesus Christ.
Let me tell you something. When you get a good black man that can't read and the sex is delicious, you will do some crazy shit. Everybody was wondering what was wrong with Whitney Houston. I know what was wrong with Whitney Houston. She got that ghetto pipe and it ain't got no turnoff valve.
Shout out to Bobby Brown, huh?
Yeah. Putting it down.
Bringing the heat.
Yeah. Holy shit. Okay.
All right. So who was in the house when you were growing up? Mom, dad, brothers, sisters? Give us
Just
the
mom, 3 brothers and a sister.
Okay. Your mom, 3 brothers, and a sister. All right. And was this an apartment or a house?
Efficiency. One time we just lived where it was a living room and a kitchen and a bathroom, and then apartment. We were poor as fuck. We got evicted all the time, but we never got sat outside on the street because my mama knew the system. So she'd be like, "Pack your shit. They be here in 29 days." So whenever
She was ahead of it.
Yeah, wherever we moved in, we really never unpacked. We just
Sure.
lived out of the pack shit. So we just put tape on it, put it in our car, and get the fuck out.
I respect the hustle, baby. Damn.
One step ahead. All right.
And this was all in inner city Atlanta. All
Yeah,
these
inner
moves.
city of Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where you live now. You live in Atlanta
I
now.
live in Georgia.
You live in
I don't
Georgia.
live where I grew up at. Hell no.
I know.
Those days are long behind you.
Well, I can't afford. They done fucking gentrified it. When you bring a Starbucks and white people walking their dogs, ain't no black folk shit going down over there. Baby, it's so much money to live in the West End now.
Really?
I called one day, they was like, what they said, $5,500. I say, but you ain't got rid of all the crackheads yet.
Not paying $5,500
For
to
no
live next to
crackhead,
crackheads.
but you know, one thing about white America, y'all can see some shit happen, y'all walk with y'all head up in the air and don't pay attention. Black
yeah.
folk be like, y'all don't see that shit going down
we
over
see
there.
it. We're like a horse with blinders on. I just got to get to that
No.
Starbucks, get my macchiato, and call it a
Trying
day.
to get that property value up.
So that it's still $5,500 sometimes to live in the West End, but all the riffraff ain't gone.
And what did your mom do when you were a kid? What was she doing for a job?
Watching soap operas.
Okay.
She literally watched The Young and the Restless. We lived off government assistance.
Okay.
And we just moved from place to place.
Damn.
And
Were
go
you-
ahead, no, please.
No, were you in school at all that time? Same school? Were you moving around?
We
or-
moved. Do you know what the good part about my mama? We would get evicted in the community, so we never had to change
That's
school.
great.
all right.
So we changed address, but we never changed school.
Your mom had it all figured out.
Yeah, that's great. You still make the bus in the morning.
This
Let's go.
before they did credit checks for you to move into a place.
Sure.
Oh, you got the money, move the fuck in.
How were your grades growing up? Were you a good student?
I don't think so. I was all right. I tried.
Oh, man.
One time, back in the day, and they can't do this shit today, but I'm 51, they would separate you from the AB student, the CD student, and just the dumbass student, right? So I was in the CD or the dumbass student category, but I always wanted to be number one at anything I do. So I said, please, teacher, please let me read out the book we call Impressions. And so she was like, I just love your willpower, Patricia. I got up in that group and I tried to read. I was so hard. The smart student was like, if you don't get this bitch out this group, the teacher's like, you tried, baby. You tried.
A
You
for
tried.
effort for Miss Pat.
Yes.
Oh,
Any
damn.
sports growing up? Did you play any sports?
No, I was pregnant too quick.
Okay.
I tried.
What
My teacher thought because I was so big and developed, because I had titties and booties in the 6th grade. He was like, you should throw the disc. But I was like 7th grade. You should throw the disc. But I was getting dick in real
Sure,
life.
yeah,
and
yeah.
it was not the same type of throw. So I don't throw that heavy ass metal.
Too busy getting piped down back here. Huh, okay.
So
What
no
age?
sports.
What age did you get pregnant?
I got pregnant at 13. Gave
Okay.
birth at 14.
Damn.
13 and 14.
No, I got pregnant at 13, gave birth at 14.
14. Okay.
Got pregnant at 14 and gave birth at 15.
And did you stay? Did you get your high school diploma? Did you stay
No, I
in
got
school?
a GED. I jumped out and started selling drugs.
Okay.
Crack had just hit the black community, and it was employing everybody in my community.
A little startup action. All right.
Get in on the ground floor. I like it.
I got in on the ground floor too.
Okay. All right.
Were you making good money
I
doing
was
that?
making a lot of fucking money.
And were you still living at home with your mom?
Nah, my mom was off on her own doing her thing. I moved into a fucking nice ass apartment. I faked my ID, and I always had big titties and a nice shape, and I always act older. So I walked in there, forged me some check stubs, and got my friend to answer the phone at the phone booth and say I worked there, and I got an apartment.
Man, that's all right. Talk about working the system, baby.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
All right. So you had the baby. You're about 15. You get your own place.
I got 2 babies at 15.
Two babies at 15. You got your own place, and you're moving a little action.
I'm moving a little action.
What would you say you were bringing in a week, roughly?
$15,000-$20,000, something like that. I made a lot of
A
fucking
week?
money. Yeah, I had a partner.
Jesus Christ.
We made a shit ton of money.
Holy shit.
Miss Pat moving weight.
Guys, forget Patreon. We got to get into crack.
Yeah, right?
Oh, nobody
Patreon
smoke
was
crack
good
no
money.
more.
All right.
Nobody smoke that shit anymore.
It's like Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's over.
You missed the gold rush on it?
Yeah.
All right, so you're making 15, 20 G's a week. You're doing well. What kind of car were you driving back then?
I was driving a 1986 Fleetwood Cadillac, and that's back when drug dealers first came out. We had the big gold chain, and everybody had that Cadillac, and mine was pearl white with flakes in it, with burgundy material, with the soft, I don't know what they call that top, the soft top.
Yeah, the rag top.
The rag top. Oh shit, you been somewhere. You know I don't forget.
Kimmy
about
used
the
to be a
hood.
pimp, believe it or not.
When a
I
white-
used to sell crack back in my day too, Miss
When a
Pat.
white man can tell you it's a rag top on a car, what the fuck? I'm supposed to know that. So that's what I drove.
Okay.
Holy shit.
That's a nice car.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I assume that jump was pretty crazy.
You went from nothing to
Yes.
Cadillac in
Yeah.
2 years or
Were you
whatever.
putting any of that money away? Were you saving any of it?
Nobody. They didn't teach you how to. They don't teach you no savings in the hood. They
Sure.
teach you to just be flashy. Michael Jordan that just came to the NBA. Everybody wanted to join.
You're at the precipice of every big thing happening in the black community. Crack, Michael Jordan, drug dealing.
Thriller
Mike-
just dropped. Let's go.
Michael Jordan had just dropped his first pair. Well, FUBU was the shit. Then FUBU, after FUBU Fuzz by us,
Sure.
that was like the first big black designer that we can remember. Then we ease on into Michael Jordan. I remember buying my first pair of Michael Jordan. You couldn't tell me shit. They was $59.99. The shit y'all paying for them shoes today, y'all are ridiculous.
Yeah. Damn.
Holy shit. All right. So you get a nice place. Did you get a house or did you get another
Nah,
apartment?
I just got an apartment.
Who was living in that apartment with you?
It was me, and then I had my 2 kids, and then my sister-in-law, my baby dad, really wasn't my sister-in-law, it was somebody else's husband, but my baby daddy's sister was on drugs, so I took in her 3 girls.
Look at
Okay.
you.
Yeah, so that's my first set of crack babies that I raised.
All right.
Yeah.
You make it sound like they're puppies or something.
No.
Okay.
Did you have any pets? Did you have any pets in the
I
house?
couldn't afford no pets with no fucking children. That shit don't go together.
Sure. Huh.
And how long did that last that you were selling?
I sold for about 10, maybe 10 to 12 years.
Damn.
I sold a while.
This is all pre-comedy.
Oh yeah, this is way pre-comedy.
Okay.
I always been able to make people laugh, but I'm just outspoken, so I just say crazy shit.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't think I was funny.
Sure,
I thought I was a way better drug dealer.
Well, you might have been.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
Jesus
it sounds like you were doing pretty well.
20
at both.
G's a week. That's 80s money too. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I was living the life. I didn't do drugs. I just party. I mean, I wasn't even 21. So I was getting in the club underage. I was buying clothes. I was having an apartment. We was just living the life.
Were you guys going on vacations or anything like that?
Didn't nobody tell me people go on vacation?
No, nothing. All right.
I wish like hell I had went somewhere. I think the closest vacation was drive down to Florida and you out of Atlanta. You doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
And where was the cash? Would you put it in a bank or would it be like in the house in
no,
the
so
walls?
you can't put no motherfucking cash
Sure.
in the bank.
All right.
We would hide it in my friend's house. I kind of had a partner when I started to really rise, so we would hide it at his house, hide it at my house.
Okay.
You know.
Love that.
It's
Damn.
crazy.
You can't walk in the bank and say I got $80,000 and you black with gold around your neck. You going to fucking jail.
At 17.
Damn right. I think I was 16.
Jeez.
And you never got pinched. You got out clean, right?
No, I went to prison, but
I asked you about vacation.
that ain't no fucking vacation. But I gotta tell y'all this. I've told this story 100 times. This is my favorite story because I couldn't drive, but I wanted a car and I had the money to buy a car. And so I really, at this point, I'm raising myself. So the crackhead was like, "I'll teach you how to drive." So he would come pick me up in a Jetta, a stick at night, and he would take me around 285 and put my 2 kids in the back, and they be cheering me on, and he'd be in the passenger seat smoking crack out of a pipe. And he would. That's how I learned how to drive. From a crackhead. And my kids say, "Tell him to put his cigarette." I put the goddamn crack pipe down in front of my kids.
I to put his cigarette out.
My kids didn't know he was smoking crack. I'm blowing it out the window. My kids gonna have crack in his system.
Jesus.
You talking about unfit? But I love my kids, but I was unfit.
And did
We
you
were young, yeah, of course.
when you got pinched? Did you get to keep some of the money? Like, did you have
No.
Did you have some of the money when you started in comedy?
No.
It all went away.
Oh, it all went away. You spend it all on lawyers
Okay.
and dumb shit and
And
Okay.
plus, it stops coming in at that
it
point.
stopped
so
coming
you're
in.
just
Yeah.
burning
So
it
I
as
did
it's
a
sitting
year for selling drugs. Well, I violated my probation because I got caught with my cousin kissing a motherfucker in the car. So they pinned the dope on me. It really was my dope. People laying up on the hill watching the whole time with pictures. So I ended up going to prison for a year. I mean, I got 5 years probation. I was like, oh, fuck you. I'm on top of the world. And that bitch came and got me while I was at the welfare office applying for my welfare check.
Jeez.
Damn. Wait. So you were under surveillance? They got you with pictures.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So when I violated my probation, I had to do a year off the 5 years.
Okay.
And so I did a year in jail.
In Atlanta or in
Yeah,
Georgia.
in a prison.
Yeah, okay.
And then so you started over. So you're starting over yet again.
Well, my
After
baby
that.
daddy kind of kept the trap going. So when I got out, I knew enough bigger drug dealers that were front. It's called front you. Okay, I give you this half a key. You give me this much
Miss
money.
Pat, who do you
back.
think you're talking to? You think we don't know what fronting drugs is?
You know what a rag top is. So let me stop talking like you don't know what the hell you
Come
talking
on.
about.
Check this guy for a wire.
So I would get fronted and get back on my feet. But at
Okay.
that
So
point,
you got out and sold drugs again?
hell yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to pin this timeline down.
Do you think people get out and just stop?
I don't know.
Do people just because you lock a crackhead up don't mean they ain't gonna smoke again?
True. You're right.
Were there
Okay.
ever any straight jobs?
Yeah,
Growing
I
up.
met a I met a
That's a no.
No.
You said yes and backpedaled real quick, Miss Pat.
Well, I met a guy, my husband, who I'm still with after 31 years, and he didn't
I
grow
met
up
him.
like
Great
that.
guy.
Yeah, we met him.
He didn't grow up like that. He grew up in the church, mom and daddy, middle class household. So he wasn't hearing the drugs. So he's like, look, you need to give all this shit up. And then I ended up working at McDonald's, but I always had a hustling spirit. So I figured out how to go into the register and promo all the food and steal. Shit, I was back in those days, you was making $4 an hour. That ain't no fucking money. I mean, when you come from making all this money as a drug dealer. So I was like, McDonald's ain't gonna miss none of these Happy Meals. They're not getting the money for it. So if you order something, one thing I could do back in the day, add really quick. I add that shit up. It's gonna be this. If it was cash, I hit promo, open that register, go in there, take the money, and give them their change.
What were you pulling down a week to with that?
A couple $100.
Did you ever get knocked doing that?
No,
Damn.
No, I had that shit down pat. Because when you don't just steal from a corporation like McDonald's, you get other people to steal with you. So everybody make a little bit.
Man.
You know, somebody interested in stealing the burgers, the cheese, the lettuce. I was interested in the cash register.
Sure, you guys can keep the fries.
I got food stamps. I could buy that crap at Kroger.
Shout out to Kroger. That's all right.
Okay.
The Kroger was your grocery store growing up.
Yeah, Kroger, Piggly Wiggly. You know, I'm from the South.
Sure.
Okay.
And where are you shopping nowadays? Where are you food shopping now?
Publix.
Okay.
Nice.
I still like Walmart. You
Okay.
know. I
Nothing
go
wrong with it.
anywhere.
And are you going to do it yourself?
I do. And people be shocked. They was like, "You in the store?" Yeah, bitch, you in the store? I gotta eat too.
Sure.
They be shocked, like, you shop for yourself. Why am I gonna pay somebody to come up here? I know how to do this.
Of course, you're not wrong.
Yeah, you can't, people think because you got money, money do make you lazy. It do, because people will wait on your hand and foot if you can afford it. But I don't want all them people in my house. Then they be done got a hold to my husband. I can't be following these young girls. I got vertigo.
Okay. All right. You don't want young girls around the house, is what it is?
No, they titties set up straight. They stuff tighter. They don't leak. I can't compete with that stuff.
Hey, I respect.
So when you started
That's all
comedy,
right.
were you in Indiana?
I was in Atlanta.
You were
I'm
in
born
Atlanta.
and raised, and my husband's job, General Motors, closed in Atlanta and transferred us to
Gotcha.
Okay.
Indiana. He didn't want. We didn't have the money for him to take the buyout.
So then you started touring and everything from out of Indiana.
Yeah.
And then, so you're grinding it out the whole time.
Yep. I get on the Bob and Tom show and get a whole new audience.
Okay.
After the Bob and Tom show.
Got it. And then you get the mspat show, and that's when everything started to change.
That's when everything changed.
Gotcha.
That's when I never went back to Indiana.
What year's this?
5 years ago. What is 5 years ago?
Crazy. Yeah, it's 2018, 17, something
Yeah,
like that.
so I started pitching the show around 2015. I did Joe Rogan podcast and Mark Maron. Hollywood immediately called and said, we want to give you a TV show. So I had all these studio meetings. I'm just a little girl from the West End. I don't want to hear this crop of crap. You know what I'm saying? Don't be up here wasting my time. So, I don't
I love
know.
how all these big wigs are rolling out, throwing everything at you. Like, don't be wasting my time now.
Yeah, so I go in and I go to Ron Howard's studio, and one of his exec heard me tell my story on Joe Rogan podcast. He said I couldn't get out of the car. He immediately called me. His name is John Rattler. We family now, and I hated him. Because you know what? I'm from the South. And, my mama did raise us somewhat decent.
Sure.
And he put his foot on the table, and I wanted to fucking choke him out. How dare you put your feet on furniture? That is so disrespectful.
Sure.
Wait, was this at your house or?
No, it was at their office.
Still, it's not even your table, and you're
Yeah,
still
it
pissed.
wasn't even my and I wanted to kill him. And, my son used to, when I moved to Indiana, my son really, I don't care who you date. I'm not going to say I don't see color, because I do. We're fucking culturally different.
Sure.
Let's be honest.
Well, you two, not me and you were the same. You know what I mean?
Okay. You date a black woman, it's totally different from dating a white woman.
Of course, yeah.
My son bring home these white girls in Indiana because we live in an all-white neighborhood. And I don't have a problem with white women, but white kids ain't raised like black kids.
Sure.
Like, I come home from Taco Bell, because after, I'm working at Taco Bell trying to make it as a comedian. I walk in, he got this beautiful blonde little white girl, feet laid in his lap, and she don't even fucking speak to me. So I walk in, I say, white bitch, go home. You ain't got no manners.
Okay.
Go the fuck home. I walk in, you speak to me.
Sure. Hello. How you
Hello,
doing, Miss
and
Pat?
get your feet off my fucking couch.
Okay.
You white bitch. So I told him, I said, if you gonna date white women, you need to give them OJ book on how to date them. I'm sorry, that's the wrong word.
It's okay.
How to
It's
date a
okay.
Negro, a
It's
black
okay.
person.
It's okay.
You can edit it.
We have to bleep it for YouTube purposes. But
Yeah.
sure, I understand the sentiment.
How to
yeah.
date a black person. You don't just not speak to some black mama.
Sure, walking in from a long day at Taco Bell.
I say,
You say hello.
Get a white girl that know how to say hello to your black mother.
Were you still working at Taco Bell when you got these meetings? When you were getting these meetings?
No shit.
Yeah, so
That's amazing.
what happened
crazy.
was, I'm at the comedy club in Indiana called Morty's at the time, and so one of the comedians was like, I always cannot think of this guy's name, and I hate it. This when podcasts first started, white boys were popping off a podcast.
Sure. Shout out to it, gang.
You said it, sister. Let's go.
Dang it, I cannot think of his name, and I hate it. I can't think of his name.
He was a
but
podcaster?
He was a podcaster. He was with Eddie If.
Yeah.
Eddie If. That's who the first podcast I ever done. And so one of the comedians said, Eddie If is looking for somebody with some real stories. I told him he should interview you. I said, to do what? He said, podcast. What the fuck is a podcast? I'm sorry.
No, you're allowed to curse.
What the hell is a podcast? He was like, you got to go do it, Miss Pat. I'm telling you a takeoff. So I did it, and I killed it. And I thought it was weird because they was doing some of the crazy stuff at Eddie If podcast,
Sure.
and I was out of place, but I did it, and it was funny. Immediately, all the white boys started calling me. So the guy who ran the club, he said, if Joe Rogan call you, you're going to make it. So I said, who is Joe Rogan? So when he showed me the picture, I said, the guy from
Fear Factor?
Fear Factor? What happened to his hair? It's because I didn't know the comedy world, you know.
Sure, that comedy world.
You know, the white part of the comedy
Sure.
world. So
You can say, yeah.
so I started doing all these podcasts, and so Mark Maron called before Joe Rogan called.
Okay.
No, Joe Rogan called first. I can't remember either one. And we ended up shooting Eddie. We ended up shooting. What's that show? The stand-up show about stories.
Ari
show.
Ari Shaffir.
I met Ari Shaffir. We sat in the park, and I said the weirdest crap to him. I was like, I didn't know it was a lot of Jews. I thought it was only Jesus because we only had that one on the wall. And so we sitting in the park, and all of these people walking around with them little curly fries down their face.
Okay.
And so he out there explaining to me they're different from him, and I'm like, I'm confused.
Sure.
And I didn't know. My mama told me it was just one, and it was Jesus Christ. So I was blown away.
Oh, you were told Jesus Christ was the only Jewish guy.
Jewish guy.
And then you see all these Hasidics walking around with Ari, and you have to. Okay, all right, yeah.
So I go back. I said, did y'all know it was a lot of Jewish people in this world? Because I'm so naive. Ari took it a lot better than y'all. Y'all look like y'all scared.
No, it just took me a minute to. Also. I mean, also to be shocked there's more than one Jewish guy to me is crazy.
But I
like how you reported back to all your black family. Like, psst, you know, there's more than one Jewish guy.
I don't know nothing about entertainment.
Sure.
So
Man,
I
I'm
ended
gonna have a
up.
heart attack.
We shoot the show, and I do an episode with Mark Maron and Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan had just did it. Mark Maron was telling Joe Rogan, you gotta have on. So just so happened they kind of dropped around the same time, and I got a book deal off of Mark Maron, and Hollywood just came knocking, and I didn't know what to say to Hollywood, so I said, I'm just gonna be myself, and that's what they purchased was me.
That's amazing.
Well, I shouldn't say purchase.
But yeah, sure. Okay. That's what they invested in.
They invested in.
They invested in Miss Pat.
Yeah, and then they allowed me to be who I am.
That's amazing.
And it took off.
I love those stories where it's like you were probably killing for. I mean, you're so fun. You're so naturally funny. So you were probably killing for for a long time in obscurity, and then all of a sudden it's like you're so ready, and all these things start happening. It's great.
Well, the good part about it, I was a touring comedian.
Sure.
I was out there working on my hour or 2 hours, and I was really ready.
Of course, yeah. And
so
then you get the call. Yeah.
I get the call, and I knew what I wanted the show to be, and we ended up going through two writers, and we found that third writer. The blessing part about the Miss Pat show. That show got dropped 3 times by Fox. Fox picked that show up 3 times. We went through 3 writers.
Jeez.
And the third writer said, listen, Fox, you got something here. 22-year-old kid, Jordan Cooper, he said, y'all need to let her be her. Mm-hmm. And this is how this show is going to be successful. So Fox agreed to sell it to streaming platforms, and Hulu bought it.
Great.
Hulu bought it, and the first thing come out my word is the N-word. That man said, hell no, not over here. He tried to get dropped again.
My head hurts.
They dropped it. I think I scared the exec over at Hulu so bad
Sure.
with the content, but it was so funny.
Of course.
I'm a black mama. I'm a mama that a lot of people know. I said, he don't understand me, and he's not going to pick up the show. And I knew it in my heart he was not going to pick up the show. But I never not believed that the show would get picked up somewhere. And so BET Plus came knocking. And I love telling this story. I had no idea that it was a BET Plus because I don't watch BET. At the time, I didn't. And I was like, where they get a plus from? And so my co-creator who's into TV, he said, hey, they have less than 1 million subscribers. We're going to die. And I said, we're not going to die. I said, one thing I know about crack, 2 things you ain't never seen a commercial for is crack and Waffle House, and they outsells everything.
Yeah, they're killing it.
I said, if we create crack and Waffle House, we got them.
I mean, you should be running a Fortune 500 company. It's crazy.
And they love it. We created crack and Waffle House. Bye.